Hey guys, Brixie Tech here, and today we have another Tacoma project going on. As some of you probably know, on the lower end Tacomas without the JBL sound system, the factory speakers leave a lot to be desired. So I went ahead and spent about $100, purchased some Pioneer speakers for the front and rear doors as well as tweeters here. So just kind of want to go over these speakers before I go to a kind of not really an install video, but just kind of an overview of how to put these in. So let's start off with have some T110 speakers or tweeters, excuse me. I had these in my old Frontier and they sounded pretty good. Just a little upgrade there. And then for the rear doors, I picked up these TSA1670F 6.5 three-way speakers for the rear doors, and then for the for the front, we're going with TSA67970Fs. Should be good, 600 watt on those, 320 watt, and then these say 120 watt. Of course, that's the max rating. The nominal rating will be much lower. But the main reason I went with these is they include these adapter rings that you kind of just trim to your specific vehicle. So that saved me a little money. Would have been about 20-30 bucks to get those. And a lot of people, to avoid cutting the factory harnesses, purchase aftermarket kind of wire adapters. I'm not going to be cutting my harness, but to save a little money, and since nobody really wants the factory speakers, I'm going to go ahead and just harvest the old connectors off the old speakers, kind of cut those out, desolder them, and then solder them to these. But pretty excited to get these installed. After this quick recording, I'm going to do a kind of before sound with a couple songs, and then I'll do a video afterwards kind of showing the upgrade. Probably won't sound too different on your just computer speakers, but should give a little bit of a comparison. My biggest complaint with the speakers is that there's just not a lot of vary between the highs and the lows. It kind of just all flat. So I'm hoping with this there'll be quite a bit of be able to make out the different high and low notes. I will be adding a part 2 video. I ordered a Pioneer 400 watt kind of inline amp. It's not really for powering a sub. It's more you can just run it right off the factory radio power and just wire it in and tuck it behind the dash. So that'll be part 2. I'll be doing a custom harness there, so I don't have to cut into the head unit wires. But pretty excited to get this in, so I'll go ahead and just do some before videos and then show you guys the after, as well as kind of just some install steps. All right, thanks. Okay, so we are in the truck. This is a before and speaker install test video. I'm just playing some no copyrighted sound YouTube track, just one of the newest ones they released. I'll go ahead and start it and run in about 15 seconds. All right, let's go ahead and get these speakers installed, and then I will do a follow video. Okay, it's not too difficult to get the door panels off. Basically, what you need to do is you pull this straight off. It should come off pretty easily, but if there's any white clips in here that don't come off with the trim, then you need to pull those out and put them back on. You push this center pin in, and then you should be able to pull the whole thing out, and then push it out. And then you need to pull this trim piece off with like a pry tool. And then there's going to be a screw in here, and then behind the felt in here there's another screw. And then you need to pry this off. There will be some cables behind the back of the door. You don't have to remove them. I'm going to see how hard it is. I know some people have had issues with it unlocking, but I think you can take this whole mechanism out, so I'm going to try and do that. If not, I'll just rest this on like a bucket or something, or use some like bungee cords to hold it up while I get the speaker in and out. All right, let's get them. Looks like all 3 of my white clips stayed in, so I'm definitely going to pull those out. If you don't want to push them through, they'll be rattling around, so you can kind of just take your fingers and pinch and pull, and they just come out like that. So make sure you get all 3 of those, and then just put them back on the panel like so. They just kind of push back in. See there, get it lined up, and kind of hard to do off camera, but or on camera. Let's see. Yep, see, there you go. Not too bad. So I chose just to not disconnect my door locks. After messing with them for a few seconds, seemed to be just a pain. So I'm just resting them on a box and a bucket here. And then I'll take the speaker out and kind of just let it rest back in. But these are just removed with 10 millimeter, and then unplug this. And like I said, I'm gonna cut this out of the speaker and then repurpose it for my new speakers. These connectors were actually pretty easy to get out. You just snip the wires on the back end. In fact, on the next one, I'll probably do it a little shorter, just in case I ever want to reinstall these. You don't even need to destroy them. So you just snip those wires, and there's a little pin right there. You just put your little pick in there, and then just with some needle nose pliers, I just gave it a nice tug, and then that just pulled right out. And then so I can just solder these right up to the cables that came with the Pioneers. Speaker is in, and the bracket did not line up perfectly, but close enough. Kind of had to angle the bolts a little bit, but it's in there tight. I just had to trim off. There was like a bracket for a Chevy or something over there where it kind of hooks in. And then I tested it first too. Let's play some. See, it's working there. So I'm gonna go ahead and button this side up, and then do the passenger side, and then I will film the rears. And for the back door panels, they're gonna be pretty similar to the front. So you're gonna have that little piece to pull out, and then a screw here, the screw down in the pocket there, pry off the little lock cover, or excuse me, the window switch, and unplug it, and then push that in, and then just pry out. And you'll still have the white clips right here as well, so just be careful of that. But yeah, gonna get this off and then get the last door speaker installed, and then I just have the tweeters left. To get the tweeters out, you're gonna carefully pop the cover off here and here. You could use like a pry tool or a small flathead. Be careful, I accidentally, mine fell off, but it should still snap back in, and just, you know, be gentle, because you don't want to mar up the plastic. It's really soft. So then there's 2 10 millimeters. Those will come out, and then use your pry tool to kind of lift this up and pull it out. And just be careful. This side's actually already done. I put it back together. I did break one clip, but it still is holding good. So just, you know, be gentle, and then take your time. And then I still got the passenger side, or the driver's side apart, and I'm currently pulling the speaker out. I'll just do a quick shot of it. So once you get the trim off, there's going to be 2 10 millimeters. They're kind of hard to get to. You can use like a shallow socket or a ratcheting wrench, and then once you get them loose, you can kind of get them out by hand. Sorry, my hand's kind of in the way there, but just keep unscrewing them, and then they should come out like that. And then the speaker should come out. There's not a lot of play here, but there's the old tweeter, and I'm actually gonna harvest this frame. It's a little involved. I have to take this, I want to get this old magnet off so it doesn't interfere. But I was able to kind of get that off and then separate it and kind of gut this old speaker. You're not using it anyways, so I will go over to the bench and show you how I did that. Okay, first thing you're going to do is just gut this. You can literally just take like a screwdriver and peel it out or pull it out, and then there's you're going to want to, you could just cut these wires. We're not going to need them. And then there's like these little clips around here, and then just pull this connector off the back. So I'll show you what that looks like when it's all done. Okay, so here's what the connector is going to, or the bracket's going to look like all gutted. There's still this magnet on the back here, and then we have the connector. We're going to use this to attach our new speakers. But basically there's these 4 little kind of smashed in, indented pins that are holding the magnet on. If we drill those out, we should be able to disconnect the magnet. And then I actually got this connector. I'm going to try and use this on the driver's side. I didn't use it on the passenger side, but this might actually come in handy. I'll show you what I'm thinking with that in just a sec. Okay, so we got that all drilled out, and we should be able to just pop in a screwdriver and kind of twist that out. All right, once you get that all cleaned up, the speaker should fit right in that hole we made, and then run the crossover through. You do have to kind of bend the bracket a little bit to run the crossover through. So if you pull the wire through and then drop the speaker in, it should fit perfect. See, look at that, fits like a glove. And then you just need to attach some kind of screw in the back to make it sit flush. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and I'll show you the final product before I get it wired up. And here is how the connector is wired up. You just want to connect all 3 of these legs together and then solder that to the negative leg of the tweeter, and then the other leg over here on the right. Gonna solder to the positive lead with the crossover. I'm gonna get this all cleaned up, and then I'll show you the final product before I put it back in the dash. Here is the final product. So I got the speaker wire, or the connector wired up, and the speaker. In there I used that plastic ring kind of as a washer, and then just tie this up. This just clips back in like it came out, and then I'm gonna get everything buttoned up, and then I'll do a final thoughts for you guys, and hopefully we'll hear a nice difference in sound. All right, it's the moment of truth. Let's see if my sound system sounds better. I'm pretty excited. Let's go and do a test play here of the same song. I don't know about you guys, but that sounds a lot better to me. I am really happy with the results. You know, it's not day and night better, but still definitely noticeable better between the highs and lows. So next step is I do have an amp on order. It's just an inline amp that I'm gonna create a special T-harness to put just into the head unit, and then kind of just hide behind the dash here. It's nothing crazy where I'm gonna have to wire it up to the battery. It's just a basic Pioneer unit, but it should offer a little extra oomph to all the speakers. It's just a 4-channel. It says it's a 400 watt speaker, but I think it's, or amp, but it should provide about 45 watts to each speaker at all times. So that should definitely give them a little more loudness and a little more clarity. So pretty excited about that, but that will be another video. If you guys found this video useful, make sure to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more Tacoma content. Thanks.